Don, you asked me earlier about the Hawkins Cemetery, and I told you that Rod Wright took me to the Hawkins Cemetery, which was north and east of his house. And I'm looking here in Barbara Wagner's cemetery book, in volume 5, and there's 2 Hawkins cemeteries. The one that Rod was referring to is Hawkins Prairie Cemetery. And then there's a Hawkins Cemetery colored in Washington Township. And I think we agreed that that was where Braden Simmons is buried.
Right.
But you were thinking the Hawkins Cemetery is the one by Maysville.
Yes.
Right off Old 50 there, where you come in from the new bypass. And it's off, I think, a little bit to the west.
Just west of the church and the schoolhouse.
West of the church and the schoolhouse. There's an old cemetery there. So that may be the oldest. I think that's the cemetery that I've read where the first people that ever died in this county were buried in that cemetery. But I don't see the name of it here. I don't know which one it would be. So that's still a mystery. It's here on this county map. You can see it on the county map over here that we're talking about. And this is supposedly all the cemeteries in Washington Township, but maybe not. I may have to look in a different book. But I would have just called that the Maysville Cemetery, or the old Maysville Cemetery.
Well, I could be wrong, because I'm not that well versed on cemeteries.
I would venture to say that Carolyn Fitzgerald had solved this problem right now, and definitely Barbara Wagner when she was at herself. But now I've got a puzzle there.
Well, Carolyn, of course, did a lot of cemetery work with an aunt, Fields.
Yes. Well, she's one of my sources when I need to name a cemetery. I'm not real familiar with the names of these particular cemeteries, but I believe I know where all the cemeteries are in this county now. And it just took me 7 years to get that down. But I'm pretty sure I know where all the abandoned cemeteries are. There's only a couple of them that I've not ever stood in or found, but I have an idea where they are. That DNR work that they just did picked up a couple of them.
Colleen Fields, of course, and she's passed away years ago, but Carolyn Fitzgerald did a lot of work out there in the cemeteries with her, so she is probably the best authority on that around.
That would know things. Now Barbara Wagner would be a good one too, but Barbara's failing. So we also know that back in the WPA period, they had a project where they went through and did the names on all the cemetery stones. I believe that's down at the Carnegie Library. So we have sources that we can use for that when people are looking up cemeteries. But if anybody wants to know where a cemetery is, I have a pretty good idea where they are. There are several cemeteries in the county that are not being taken care of, and a little bit of a disgrace to our good name that we don't take care of our cemeteries like we should.
Well, the reason I thought that I always thought that was the Hawkins Cemetery is because I know that there was an old colored fellow that lived there, and they called him Yaller Hawkins, and he was one of the participants in the Underground Railroad, and he sheltered a lot of those black people that were on their way north and were part of the Underground Railroad, and he lived right in there, right.
Well, and the other thing about that is you look at the map is it's right next to Hawkins Creek.
Yeah. So
it makes sense that they would call it that.
Yeah.
So maybe they do call that. If they do, that's the third Hawkins cemetery that we got to watch out for. They might have, where Brayton's buried, that might be something that's a little more modern. Maybe they ran out of room at the old one and started that other one.
Personally, I didn't think that was called Hawkins.
I didn't either, but according to this book, this is what it was
That's just
called.
directly north of,
It's on Wright Street.
directly north of Boxtown.
Yes, it's on the road that goes out to Oak Grove Cemetery. It's not too far from where you showed me where the circus used to set up.
Yeah.
Out there, it'd be a little bit west of there.
I'm giving you a signal to wrap it up. Okay.
Oh, I wondered what that was. So we wrapped it up.